Okay, so we are back with part 2 of the Expressive Lines assignment. Let's go up to File. You should be able to find your most recent files by going to Open Recent Files and clicking on the last date that you worked on this. Okay, so we have our white artboard with 3 images of the photograph that we have been turning into a vector image. And so let's also take a look at our palette, our layers palette I should say, and let's go to this is the icon, this little stack of papers or layers. There's the layers icon. And layers is extremely important in this assignment. So you want to make sure you have your original. Your original should have the image repeated 3 times, and that's it. If you have anything else on your original layer, call me over so I can help you fix it. The last layer we created before ending part 1 was the gradient layer. Our comp layer with all of our pathways on it, so the pathways for the trees should be on the comp layer, and that's it. If anything else is on your comp 1 layer, let me know. And then your comp 2 layer, by clicking on the arrow, it reveals what the pathways are. Should only have the same exact thing as comp 1 had, just the lines for the trees. If you have anything else on your layers, call me over and I'll help you fix it. Okay, now we're going to go up to View and we're going to zoom in. And let's zoom in and let's zoom in. Okay. And we have 3 repeated photographs on here, and to make this easy I'm going to ask you to go to your last one right now and go to your black arrow tool and select it, and we're going to delete that one for now. See if it'll let us do it. Should let us do it. Hit delete. Let's see. Come on. Alright, let's go here to, okay, the one that's highlighted blue, right here, and let's go up and go delete image. Good. You don't want that one right now. You don't want that image right now. We're going to go ahead and we're going to put that image back in later. So, let's get going on turning the background into from a photograph into more of a graphic design. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to the layers palette, the gradient palette, I'm sorry, and make sure it's highlighted blue. So the gradient palette is highlighted blue. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to grab our rectangle tool, and when we see those green lines, those are your guidelines helping us get right into the corner there. And we're going to drag our rectangular tool, you see that blue box is telling us where we're at. Grab our rectangular tool and we're going to go right in between the border. Right in between the border. There. We're not going to, don't go over the black border, go inside the black border and let go of that. And it turned black because my fill is black. I don't want my fill to be black. I want my fill to be white. So I'm going to go and click on this arrow and switch it around. Now I have no fill. Well, I'm going to click on this right here and it'll be white. There we go. So I now have my first composition with my black vector lines and my white background. And it's very graphic. It's just a simple black and white piece of artwork that we took from this photograph. And you can adjust it here and there if you want. You can go to comp 1 and click on the lines and maybe bring them up a little more if you want them to be a little bit more, reposition them if you don't like the way they're positioned and you think you want to reposition some of the branches or some of the tree trunks. And you can, let's not do that though, Control Z. There we go. So see what you can do to gently move them around, nudge them. Don't be too rough with it or it's going to shift the whole entire artboard. You don't want to do that. Okay, so okay, So let's just leave this one as it is, and let's go on to the second one. And remember, because these are just practice activities. These are practice activities, okay? And notice on the gradient level, you now have that white rectangle box that we drew is on the gradient level because that's where we put it, okay? All right, and now what we're going to do is we're going to go down to the second photograph that we are creating and taking and making into a vector image. And on the second one, we're still going to stay on the gradient palette, on the gradient layer, sorry. I'm really tired. It's late. And I'm going to go to my rectangular tool, and I'm going to go ahead and I get my green guidelines. I'm going to drag out my rectangle. See the blue rectangle right in between the black border? Yes? And that's interesting. What I get is a stroke and no fill, but I don't want that either. I want to go here to the little gradients, the pre-made gradients. Remember, we can make our own gradients, but there are pre-made gradients. I'm going to click on that, and we get a super cool gradient in the background. And when I clicked on this right here, this little gradient right here, see it says gradient, you should get a pop-up box for your gradient. And we're going to change it right in this box right here. We're going to click on the arrow, get the drop-down box, and we're going to make it -90. And it shifts the gradient. Another thing I want to show you is you can now, and I want to take that stroke off. I don't want the big stroke. I want no stroke. So, whoops, and my gradient my way. And my gradient right here. Okay, so no stroke. We don't need to have that stroke. No stroke and a gradient fill, and then we're going to come over to our gradient box, and we're going to change that gradient to 90. -90. Now, I have a white slider and I have a black slider. But what if I want to add more sliders? Look at my arrow tool. You see the plus sign? I'm going to click with my mouse and I'm going to add some sliders in here. Just clicking on my mouse, I'm getting the little plus sign, I'm clicking, get another slider, another slider, another slider. And I can play around with those sliders. Maybe I want to change some of this around. Let's deselect. Get out into the gray. Deselect. Okay. Here we go. There we go. Sometimes this program is so finicky. Sometimes my computer is so slow. I'm going to wait for my computer to catch up with me. Hold on a minute. Okay, so my computer caught up with me, and again I'm showing you how I'm adding in these sliders. And I can start moving these sliders around, and as I do that, I change my gradient. And I can start, and if you're having trouble with this, just let me know, and I will help you. And so I'm just going to play her. So I actually kind of like the light background with the dark ground, but let's see what it would look like if I switch that around. Can I put the dark here? Oh, I want the dark on the top though. Actually, I don't even really want the black, so I'm going to drag the black out. I don't want the black in there. I don't want it. I kind of like that. But you play around with it and see what you like. And I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time doing this, but you go ahead and play around with yours, and I'm going to show you what we're going to do next. Okay, so I actually changed it around. I kind of like it with the lighter bottom and the darker gray top. It kind of makes it look like, I don't want to do that. It kind of makes it look like it's a snowy evening where there's snow on the ground. And so, again, your artwork can allow you to tell stories, and that's a lot of what children's book illustration is about, where you just start telling lots of stories with your art. And so, okay, I'm gonna leave this alone, and I'm gonna get to the next and the third and final one. And for that one, I decided to handle it a different way because we're gonna be doing something different with this one. And so let me just put that layers palette, that gradient palette back. And I want you to take your black arrow tool, and I would like you to select the entire Comp2 selection, and I would like you to go Control C for copy, and then I would like you to go New Layer, and let's see if it'll work this way. Let's see if we can do it this way. Maybe, maybe not, I don't know. Comp3, go OK, and we're going to go ahead and give ourselves some space here. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to go Control V. Let's see if we get it on there. Well, we got the copy. Am I just dragging? Yeah, we got the copy on there. That's good. Ah, and there it is on Comp3. So we did it. So I'm going to delete that and I'm going to start over again. So for the beginners who didn't get that, I'm going to Control and V and copy and do it again. So you do not have to delete it if you got it right the first time. I'm just doing it again because we have all levels in this class. We have really, really beginning people, and then we have some advanced people as well. So I'm going to go over to my black arrow tool. I am going to select what we just did in Composition 2. We know it's all selected because we have the blue handle boxes around our gradient, and we have all the green vector lines selected, okay? And you can come over here to your layers palette and you see that the little box is turned green, which means that everything on Composition 2 is selected. But we have to make sure we know where we're going to paste it. So we want to go here to the drop down box. Remember, we could also make a new layer down here. So we could also click on the new layer and create a new layer here too. And we can double click on here and we can name this COMP3, Comp3, okay? And deselect so we can get the text to stay in there. Now while the Comp3 box is selected, notice there's nothing here because there isn't anything pasted on that layer yet. So we're going to scroll down and give ourselves some room. We could have a nice arrangement of 3 on here. And we're going to go Control V, and there it is. And we're just going to grab it with our arrow tool and move it down a little bit so we have some nice even space, and we can fix that later. And look at Comp3's layer. There it is. And when we go ahead and do this, there it is. All the paths and everything are already there for us. We just had to copy and paste it for the third one. Okay? Deselect by clicking outside of the artwork. And now we're going to get a chance to play with this one too. You can change the gradient in the background. So I might go ahead, go back to my gradient, my sliders, and it's going to show the same exact arrangement as in this one. But we're now on a different layer, so we can change it around without touching anything for the second comp. And I think what I want to do is bring some of this back here. So I'm going to change, so go ahead and play with the gradient and decide what you like and how you want to change it around. And I might bring my lighter ones there, my darker ones here, and really change that around. And let's see, change it up here. I can drag these around too, over here. But there's something else that we're going to do, and that's really what I want to show you. So you can go ahead and play with your gradients as much as you like. And then, here he is. See this here. Oh good. I wanted to get it. Okay, there we go. Let me get some black. Maybe I have a black one over here. Oh boy. Okay, I'm playing around with it. So here's what we're going to do next. I would like you to pick a couple of these vector lines that we want to just leave pure black. And the ones that are closest to the front. So this big one will be pure black. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this one, and this one black. But I'm going to take some of the ones that would be considered in the middle ground, and I'm going to click on one, and I'm going to hit my shift key on my keyboard, and I'm going to be able to click several of the other ones. And I don't want to leave these pure black. I want to make these that I selected. I'm going to go up to opacity, and I want to make these about 80% black. Maybe less. Maybe too light. Maybe 70. How about 73%? And deselect. Click outside the space. So now I have some very dark ones, and I have some ones that are getting lighter. And I probably want this one to be lighter too. So then you're going to make some, again, you're going to make some design calls on this and decide, I might not make that as light as this, but these ones that are all the way in the back, I might want to make those very light. So as they go back in space, you're going to make sure you're selecting the little branches and the tree trunks, and you're going to go ahead and you're going to select as many. You should, when you hold down the shift key, all of it should be selected, but sometimes the computer just is finicky. So it's not just you. Trust me, it's the computer too. See, my computer's really slow right now. It's got to catch up to me. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to change the opacity on those. I'm going to bring it all the way down to about 47%. I want those really light because they're all the way in the back. So about 47% for the ones in the back. It could be whatever you like though, because it's your art. So you've got all the correct commands down for creating it and all the procedures down for creating it, and now you get to design and you get to play around with it. So I'm just going to keep on doing this, and you're going to keep doing it too until you get it all ready. And let's see what else we're going to do here. So, alright. So, go ahead, play around with your gradient. You can change this one up. You can change your background. We're going to do one more thing before we're done today. And what we're going to do is we're going to define the horizon line just a little bit more. We're going to take our brush tool. We haven't used our brush tool yet, but we're going to use our brush tool right now. And let's see what our stroke is like on our brush tool. Do like a 4-point stroke. I'm going to make a swoosh. I'm going to make a swoosh in the background. And I don't like that swoosh though. I'm going to delete it. Control Z. Maybe this one. Swoosh. And I want to really make that opacity really light. I'm going to go to 6%. Oh my god, my computer's so slow. Look at this. Well, my computer's really slow right now. So it's just catching up with everything I'm trying to do here. Let's go. So you can make this swoosh. You might like that. And we can go ahead and do some effects on the swoosh. You can blur it. You might want to blur the swoosh. It didn't really do. Oh, it kind of took it all out. Let's undo that. I don't think that. Well, let's see if we make it a little darker. If we make it like, I wonder if we add that Gaussian blur to the darker one. I'm just curious to see what happens. There's the blur. I can't really see it. Didn't do anything. So you can add some effects to it. You know, if you like the blur, that's great. If you don't like the blur, leave it out then. I'm just curious to see what happens. Will anything happen? Something's happened. Ooh, that's interesting. I don't know. Let's see what you can do with that. Let's see if we can go Control C, Control V, and we can get a bunch of them in here. Control C, Control V, and get some more of them in here. Okay. And then what if we want to move this? Let me see if I can select all of these, and let's see if we can, no, I don't want to select that, I just want to select this. What if I can object, arrange, send backwards? Will it do that? No. Object, arrange, send to back. Oh no, send it too far back. Object, arrange, bring to front. So, you know what we could do is we can make a completely different layer for the swoosh. Hold on, you gotta make a swoosh layer. So delete your swoosh and go here to new layer and make it swoosh. If you like the swoosh, you want to put the swoosh in, S-W-O-O-S-H, swoosh. Alright, so now we're on the swoosh layer and we can draw a swoosh with our brush, swoosh. Right? And now, let's see if I can go object, arrange. Oh, come on. Let me select it. Come on. Object, arrange. Didn't do it. Am I on the switch here? Not yet. Object, arrange. Let's see, how can we do this? Gotta select it first. Anyway, you get the point. You get the picture. Oh, doesn't matter if it's on the switch there. Well, we'll have to figure it out. If I figure it out, I'll show it to you in class. In the meanwhile, you can have some fun with this and go ahead, and in the end, what we end up having is, I'll show you what you end up having at the end, is 3 different compositions. And let's go actual view. And you have 3 different compositions. And that might be a nice portfolio piece. If you're a digital artist and you're looking to get into a school, that's a nice portfolio piece to put in your portfolio. Transforming a photograph into vector lines. Okay. We're done.